Hey guys, loads of people asked me to do a tutorial video because they wanted to know how to do my tracks. And yes, the time has come. I'm doing the first tutorial video and I'm showing you how I worked on the Killers track when you were young. I just uploaded the track as a free download, my remix as a free download. And now I'm going to show you how I did it, what I'm using for it. As you can see, I'm using Ableton Live. It's the software I'm using. It's great software, especially for remixing and doing creative stuff. It's the best one. Everything I used from the Killers was the a cappella. I somehow had it on my computer, and the rest of it I will show you now. You can listen to the full track on my SoundCloud, and I want to start to show you how I'm doing my drums. Basically, for my drums, I'm using two kick drums. One of it should be this one. This one is the top kick. The top kick is just, I use the kick I made myself for it here. And I have my own, as you can see, my own chain of processing on it. So basically it's EQing, filtering, compression, saturation to make it sound warmer. A bit crusher, this is TL bit crusher, I'm using it, it's a free plugin. It makes really good bit crush, nothing more, nothing less. I'm using it quite often for this kind of effects. Most important about it, as I said, it's a top kick, so I'm cutting all frequencies below 100 Hertz, around 100 Hertz. Of course, it depends on the sound of the kick drum and everything, but usually around 100 Hertz. I cut it off. Sometimes I push the low end a little bit so it's more crispy. So this kick drum sounds like this. But as I said, it's a top kick, so the most important thing, the real kick is missing, and I'm using a second kick drum for it. I used just an 808 classic kick drum, and you can't almost hear it, but you feel it really strong. And the reason why you can almost hear it is because I really used it just for the punch. So the punch is around 50 Hertz. I gave it a little bit more gain on the 50 Hertz, and then I cut everything after 50 Hertz. I cut it off until 100 Hertz. So as you might notice, there is now, if I have both of the kick drums, one goes from 30 because I cut it everything below 30 because it's just garbage. Don't need sounds below 30 Hertz. And there's a gap at 100 Hertz, and this is the reason why I'm having this gap is that I have space for the sub bass now, because the sub bass goes around 100 Hertz. So I have free space for the sub bass, not interfering, because it's most of the one of the hardest things is to get the low end, so everything around 30 to 100 Hertz, to get it like fit together. You can, of course, I'm using sidechain compression, so it's not interfering that much. But if you have like this sandwich out of bottom kick, sub bass, top kick, so if you have both of the kicks together, it sounds really massive right now. And there's still space for the sub bass. So let's check the sub bass. Where is it? It's around. Is this the sub bass? Yes, it's the sub bass. So as you can see on the sub bass, I'm just using silent for this. It's really good. You just need, for a sub bass, you just need some sine wave, maybe little detune, not even necessary. Some EQing on this. It's just basically sub bass, just a deep sine wave. What I did here is, as I said before, I left space at around 100 Hertz for the sub bass. So this is what it is. It's here, it's just 100 Hertz, cut off everything everything else. So now we have the sub bass, we have a great low end now. For the remix, what I did is, first of all, I needed to check the harmonies and the melodies, because it's a great pop tune, and it already has great melodies and harmonies, but I wanted to change them a little bit. So I was listening to the a cappella. You sit there in your heartache. I used the CLA of waves to manipulate the vocals, just reverb and stuff. You can see it here. It's just it makes it sound good. A lot of treble here, delay, little pitch, and of course I did a low cut at around 180 Hertz to a little push on 1500, so it doesn't interfere with the low end. Basically in all layers besides of the bottom kick and the sub bass, I do cut all frequencies below 150 Hertz or something. So I listen to the a cappella and I'm trying to find some melodies. First of all, there is this lead sound. Where do I have it? Should be this one. It's basically a melody from the original, but it's not that on point in the original, it's more behind. I used it here. It's just some silent preset I used, and I manipulated and changed it. And at the end, it's just a saw wave, a high saw wave with some waves reverb on it. It's really good, the waves reverb, and also some EQing on it. Then I've searched for the right chords. I used the silent here as well. It's with cut off. So they fit perfectly together. And also I'm having here a piano. For this kind of bright pianos, most people would use Nexus. I'm preferring the Korg M1 because it's not it has good piano sounds. They also sound not like real piano, they sound like this typical dance pianos, but it's not that Nexus sound everyone is using. So it's as good as it, but it's a little bit different. So here I'm just using the piano to layer the chords. Then I'm having plug sounds I'm using quite often. You can find this sound in my silent bank. Or a similar sound in my silent bank. It's just to build up tension in some white noise, some processed white noise. Basically that's it for the build up. And then for the drop, I have layered some bass lines. First of all, I'm having this one. It's basically, it's not bass line, it's a Hoover sound that makes the bass line, that gives it some edge, you know? A Hoover sound, but it's usually the Hoover goes down, like you know it from this typical dominator sound, but I make it to go up, so it brings the energy up and not this punching down effect. It's another layer. It's just I did LFO things on it, distorted LFO. This is basically for the second part of the bass line at first. It's just to add some rhythm and some crunch on it. yeah, this is one of the main bass sounds. It's made with massive, but I'm having here a really long compression chain on it to make it sound like that. I used the Fab Filter compression on it, Fab Filter limiter, and from Fab Filter there's a nice distortion plugin called Saturn. I'm using this one as well. Volcano is like vowel compression. It gives this talking noise even more edge. Basically the massive I'm using here is preset I made, and I called it Nicky because it's similar to the famous Toulouse patch he did, but in this way it's not sounding that much like it, because I changed it for this track a lot. It's just the modern talking synth with some filters on it. You can check it here, modern talking. It's just one EQ, one oscillator with some filter in it, and all this chain, of course, that makes it sound like this. So we have, for the bassline, all in all, we have the silent one. We have the silent ones that make the rhythms, and the high ones, the hoover sounds. And I have this modern talking massive synth, and I have a sub bass, of course. The sub bass is around 100 hertz. Everything else is above it, like above 100 hertz. Sometimes it sounds good if there's a little if it's a little bit interfering, but you have to check it. It's nothing you can count or anything. It's a feeling thing. So all in all, first I'm just doing a straight bass line, and then at the second part of the drop I'm putting all the stuff together. So the bass line has to go with the melody of the chords, and I layer the chords on it, and also the vocals, because if you have like this chord thing going on, you can put the vocals over it. What I also have is some effects that I put some editing on. White noises, wind, sweeps and stuff. For the second build up, I did a guitar part because I wanted to bring the original song more back. It's not the guitar from the original, I did my own guitar. For doing this, I'm really loving this plugin Guitarist from Sugar Bytes. It's not basically made for composing on the Mac. It's more, I'm using it like that way. I'm taking my guitar and I'm trying to find some nice chords. And if you know the chords, then you can put it in here and say, you can tell him how to strum it and stuff. It's more easy and much more fast than recording it by yourself and make it perfectly, because it always takes a lot of takes until it's perfect and fitting perfect. And as long as you're not doing like guitar pop or just using it as an element, it's really great. And it sounds like this. As you can see, I tell the chords. Here you can tell the chords play, how often, and here you can edit the strumming, the way the computer picks the guitars. So basically the second, except of the guitar, the second build-up is really similar to the first. What did I forget? Snare. And the snare should be here. Basically it's not a clap, it's a clap layered with a snare, a little pitch shifted, nothing too special about this. Basically that's it. I have some hi-hats, I have some loops that I put in only slightly to give it more punch at some points. I do often use white noise on the on the same point as the kick. So the white noise goes the same way as the kick does. Yeah, that's it. Basically, you should have a good overview about how I did this remix now.